Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Ahmad Lomoyor. On this video we're gonna continue with the microservices, so by adding the response identity classes. So let's learn about response identity, what it does for us. If you check right now, when I send that one, it says successfully added. That would be a 200. The status would be a 200. Just click on a row and this is the status code is 200. See, on the message we have it is a successful. Even for example right now, let's make it smaller. Let's not to send anything, and the code is coming 400. The status is a 400. If you check the row, something went wrong on a client side. That means the client messed it up. That's why we didn't send it. We are the client. We didn't send the payload. That's why they provide this code. But that is fine. This code indicate something went wrong. We read the code, so this code has a meaning, like it's a 3 digits. Also is a bad request, client side is messed up, syntax error, payload is missing. But the point is, this general, we need to configure, because there is a more 400 code. There's a 401, 403, 400 another number, and each has a meaning. Let's say if it's missing, that has another, we need to specify to specific code. It is a same category code, but still has a specific code that indicates something is missing. So we need to configure that one. So for that reason, I have some document is a response identity. We want to use a response identity represent the whole HTTP response, like a status code, header and body. But right now we will focus on a status code. You could go on this GitHub, and there is the status response status code. Status code is a 3-digit, 1 2 3 digit. Each of that is 3 digit. That indicate whether the specific HTTP request has been successfully completed or not. The check code, this has a meaning to check if something is successful or not. The first cut is a 5 category. It starts with a number 1, and the 5th category is 1 2 3 4. 1 with a 2 more digit. This is the first category is information response until almost 200, but not 200. The 200 is a successful response till 300, but not 300. 300, 400, 500. So if you check, it is like 200 and 400. If you just open that one, and there's a client error response, the server cannot or will not process the request due to something that is perceived to be a client error. Like we just messed it up, we did not send the information, the payload. That was the mail formatted request, syntax error, non-valid response. That's why they gave us this code. But let's say if it's not authorized, although the HTTP standards specify unauthorized semantically, this response means unauthenticated. Like something is like, we will use the security, like there's a package, you need to configure the security section, so you will check user and password if the person is authorized or not authorized. If it's authorized, we give them at that. If it's not authorized, we provide them at this code. So we need to configure that one to it, not to anytime send 400. We need to configure to specific section. And payment requirement, response code is received for future. Initial aim is, you could read forbidden if someone is not allowed to get in. You see, not find it, the server cannot find the request resource. So there's you could come and read about that, what code, which meaning it as, like 407 proxy authentication require, and 8 timeout. You might see that one a lot, the request timeout. When it's timeout, they give you an conflict and gone. You could come and read more about 400. There's a lot. And 500 is server side error. Could go back to you could there's a response. and this side you just check on the side, information response, successful response, redirect. You could come and read it. Let's just read few of them. And there's a 200, like something is completely successful, that's why we provide that one. But for example, when we create a request, the request success and the new resource was created as a result, we need to provide this one. An accepting request has been received but yet not act open, it is a non-committal, since there is no way the HTTP later send the asynchronized response. So we need to like configure all of them. So you could come and read, there's a few examples. They provide you how to like configure the the response identity classes to your code. So let's go back to our code and we do it. Let's create one more code. On this code we will also configure that one, but let me on a service I wanna create one more. And let's go to a service. This is the service, Mongo service, and create one more method. And on that method I will say find by ID, something like that. And what I will do, because I want to use Mongo repository not safe, I will set get by ID something, find by let's find say get by ID. I think there's a find by ID. Okay, find by ID, and we pass that ID right here. Let's use it as a, you could use it you could use a string, anything, it's fine. Pass that ID right here. And one more thing, this will give a, if you check this one, you see it's optional. We need to use optional, we cannot do that one, and so that's why we return. You're gonna just return this. The reason is give us, if you go back, you see this is an integer type. We need to provide our class to it, and Mongo identity, we provide a Mongo identity, and we need to import a class, so it's optional. Optional is like a if else condition. If is this, find me that, else what to do. You know, it is work like if else condition. It's just checking the null point. So if you're familiar, because it's a bad coding, we're using an optional for the null point exception. So it is like a container object. It is used to represent the presence or absence, like it is exists or not exists. That's why kind of you see it as a if else. It help to avoid the null and check the null point exception. So if it's present, a non-val value. If it's empty, that would be a no value. So we're gonna use that method in our Mongo controller. Let's say get mapping public, because that was optional. We will use we cannot use the optional because of I want to use a response identity. So response identity, and also if you check that one is a generic type. We need to provide him the type. I usually forgot the data, that's why it gave me option. Then we gave them a name, get by, you say IID, find by ID. This one get by ID. Right here I already told you the path variable, because I use I already path I use the I want to pass data as a string. Let's say ID. I will check what is the data right here. I mean, yeah, it is string. So first we need to find it. Simple again. We need to use the optional. So the optional right now, it help a lot. Like optional, we will use again the data type is a Mongo identity, our data, and we will create like a class. I will call them identity something. Let's put two identity in case this is our variable. I want to assign get by ID. You call them, or you just call your class like a service dot say, did I provide him find by ID? Optional, yeah, find by ID, and ID I will pass it right here. It comes. So once we find it, we will check it with if condition, like if is true, what to do. If is not, what to do. Like if is present, like identity is a present, like return it with a if is present. We using present. Like if is exist, if is not null, we then return the response identity. You just say response identity dot, just say dot, all the status would become right here. You see, okay, null point, start, like almost all the status they will provide right here. I will say okay. So and then we will say get the identity, whatever it is, just get it right here. So dot get, use this method. If is not, we could use the else. If is not, so let's use the else, and are we gonna return response identity? Since even we're not using this one on our, what do you call, on our in our website either, we will use only this one. Just for a reason I want to use it, because I'm using different code, you will see it, so that's why. So right here we will say dot, if you say not found it, you see not found it, something is not exist, then that did build. When is not found it, we're using that one. If it's 200 would be fine. You will run that one and you will see it. And the reason I already explained you why I'm just putting get, because right here. And one more thing, I just forgot to add ID. We just need to add ID right here. All you do that just to add ID. So ID would be pass and would be recount right here. That's all. I just like go to Mango. I just add a few of them, and you could on a Mango database. I just add this two on my Mango identity class. Call them Mongo, and 60. Now I could see it. You see, just run it 60. It will pull it back for us. But in case if it's not, let's this is not let's put 600, and the response code is 4 and 4. So it's not founded. That means not founded. If you go back to your code right here, it's not founded. So now this is working fine. You could go to Mongo, and you see we're not found it. We're using a not found it. We could add it to our post method as well. Instead of that, we will say response identity, and our generic type is, our data type is our class, And what is complaining? Okay, let's sign it. Let's sign it to the as a variable. I will call him response message something. You could call him anything. Say service dot sign it right here, and we're gonna return that one. So return response identity, return response identity dot okay, and it is we will send the message. So now we have a code. When I call this one, so let's do it. Let's restart it and go back to your code, and let's add something 700 with the same information. Post service is that, and send it. Okay, successful. And if you check, it's 200. It's work fine. And if you let's go back to our IBM code, and let me make it bigger. So let's create another video, so we'll do the rest. So see you on the next video.